Hello everybody, Dagmar Bryant, Mindset and Transformational Coach, coming to you today to talk about mindset and limiting belief systems, specifically about how limiting belief systems affect our health and well-being. This is video 3 in this series. In the first video, I discussed limiting belief systems around people that we know and the kind of things that people say to us. In video 2, I spoke about limiting belief systems around business, work, and money. So what exactly are limiting belief systems? Well, they are assumptions that are based on reality but not necessarily true. Very often we hear things from when we are little. People say things to us and those things stick. Whether you've been told that you're not good enough or that you can't do something, the kind of character that you are, that affects our confidence and how we think about ourselves. If you haven't watched video 1 and video 2, please do catch up on that and hear some great techniques for helping you lift some of those limiting belief systems so that you can move into your full potential. Towards the end of this video, I will give you a couple more tips to round out that series. So limiting belief systems around our health and well-being. Well, the big one around this that you would probably all know is when people talk about New Year's resolutions. How many of you have made a resolution saying, I'm going to lose 10 pounds or 10 kilos in the next 3 months? How many of you have said, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this, I'm going to accelerate my fitness? But what happens after a period of time is that people often give up on those resolutions. And often you will also hear them say why that they've given up. Sometimes they'll say, I just didn't have the willpower, or try some of these, it was too expensive. I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it. I couldn't do it. I had a sore back, I had a sore toe, I had a broken leg. All sorts of ailments that they come up with on why it wasn't possible. But at the end of the day, all of those things are essentially just excuses, but they are still limiting belief systems that we take on because we've heard them so many times. How many of you have heard somebody say, everybody in our family is fat, I can't lose weight, everybody is big, I tried it before and it didn't work? All limiting belief systems. So what can you do about that? Well, in video 1, I covered the first 2 points, and number 1 was awareness. Number 2 related to asking yourself, is this really true? And being honest with yourself with respect to the answer. In video number 2, we looked at 2 other things. The first one was about the power of releasing those negative belief systems, either through meditation or just quietly sitting with yourself and asking your inner self, where does that really come from? I also spoke about practice, because when we have limiting belief systems, it takes practice to let go of those things. Anytime that we want to have a new habit, we need to enforce that with positive vibrations, positive self-talk, to get rid of all of the negative and not let it to creep back in. So today's tip, number 1, is that I would like you to do one thing, one small thing. You would have seen in the first video that I gave you a task to do around awareness, and it's an awareness around what are your limiting belief systems. I'd like you to take one of those and turn those around. So, for example, around your health, you might say, I can't do this because I have a bad back. Let me tell you a story. I'm perfectly well sitting here right now, but I wasn't always that way. About 8 years ago, I had a really bad turn. In fact, I had a backache to the point that I could hardly move, and it came about from one sneeze. But that's not entirely true. The real result was from years and years of sitting at office desks in front of a computer being slumped over, which led to a condition that I will never get rid of. But it was because of that sneeze, it forced me to evaluate my life. I went to the chiropractor, I had x-rays done, and it means that I've had to put a plan into place to get myself to a fitness level to protect my spine and strengthen my spine, as well as having regular adjustments. You see, for me, it was a mindset thing. I was not going to let this particular condition affect me to the point where I couldn't lead a fulfilling life. Because to me, that's the end. You want to have a great quality of life. So if you're saying to yourself, I can't lose weight, can't you really? Why can't you lose weight? Of course you can, but you need to find the right program for you. Maybe you haven't found the right mentor or coach to help you. Evaluate, look at more possibilities. But today, like I said, I would like you to start with one thing and prove to yourself that that one thing is something that you can turn around. Now, I know for me, I walk every single day. I'm not going to be a runner because I don't like running. So I make a compromise for myself that every day, in addition to my exercises, I walk every single day. If you find that you have a disabling kind of condition, maybe there is something to do that you can do. Just one little thing to prove to yourself that you can do it better or differently. But the point is, prove to yourself that you are capable of doing it. If you say to yourself, I can't give up chocolate, or I can't give up chips or crisps as they call them here in the UK, sure you can. Start with one thing and try that. That's your task for today. You might even choose to take one of the other limiting belief systems that you wrote down on your list from the first video. But the point is, try it and prove to yourself that you have that ability and that you have the mindset to be able to shift that. And the second tip that I want to give you today, so all up you'll have 6 tips, concerns with learning. So when I say learning, is there something new that you can learn about your limiting belief system? Is there something that can prove it wrong or counteract it in some way? If, for example, here's a great example. If you always believed that the earth was flat, well, we know now that the earth is round. Do some research. Learn about a condition that you have. Learn about maybe your family history. Learn about where some of your limiting belief systems have come from, and really go back over the first 4 tips to work out how you can learn and shift that. So like I said, tips for today not only are to learn, but also to do one thing so that you can shift that nagging doubt that you have about yourself, that nagging doubt that you can't do it. I believe that the 2 most debilitating words in the English language are I can't. Today, I want to hear you say, I can. I can exercise. I can do it. I can make the time. I will be able to get fitter. I will lose weight. I will lose 10 kilos by 31st of December. Set yourself a goal. You can. Write those words down for yourself, perhaps on a little sticky note or a little note, and put it by your bedside or in the bathroom, somewhere where you can see it, and reinforce it by finishing it off. I can, ... Well, what is it that you can do? Let go of some of those limiting belief systems and really step into the person that you really want to be. Don't let somebody else's negativity hold you back from fulfilling your full potential. I hope that's been of help to you. Please put your comments down below. Let me know what you have tried, what you have seen that has worked, and give me some feedback. If you like this video, also share it with people that you know. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again really soon.